Hi, my name is Jamie Fortier. I want to share with you how to create mailing labels. It's getting that time of year we're going to be making our Christmas lists for our holiday cards, maybe our graduation invites. We also could have an event coming up like a wedding or those wonderful family reunions. Well, how are you going to create those labels so that you can get those invitations out to the individuals that you want to invite? Here's how. To create the mailing labels for any occasion that you have, I always start with a mailing list. I create my mailing lists in Microsoft Excel, and here I create a template that would say first name, last name, address, city, state, and zip. So here I've populated the addresses just so you can see how it works. We've got Grandma 1, Grandpa 1, 123 Flyover, Bangor, Wisconsin, and then the zip code, whatever that may be. And you would type all these information in. The reason I like to keep it in a spreadsheet is then as addresses change, I always have that up to date and I can always make new labels if I need to, or have this information readily available to me versus going into my contacts of I keep all my contacts in Microsoft Outlook. So if I had my contacts in there, it would be more challenging to create an envelope or a label. So as long as I have my template set, you have all my mail list set, I will save that. And then I'm going to close out of Microsoft Excel. What we'll want to do next is open up Microsoft Word. Look, we're going to create mailing labels. So I'm going to click on Mailings. I'm going to click on Start Mail Merge. And we want to do labels. It's going to ask you what kind of label you're going to be using. Click on Avery, US letter, and 5160 is what we're going to want to use. Those are the labels that I use that are 3 across and 30 on a sheet. So from here, we want to put in the mail list that we created. I'm going to click Select Recipients. We already created one, so we'll use an existing list. And now we have to go find that list where we saved it. And I have all of my documentations saved under my folder. Here's my addresses. So I'll click on that. Something I've learned as I'm working through this, you always want to select the sheet that you have with the $ behind it. So I'm going to select sheet 1. That's where my names are. Now in here I want to start putting in the template. So I click on Insert Merge Field. I'll do the first name and a space. Use the space bar. Last name. And now we want to move down to this next line. I'm going to hit down. Address. I'm going to hit Enter. I'm going to hit City, space, State, space, and the zip code. Now this is the format that my label will print out. One thing I found in a tip or trick that I recommend using is, see how my arrow key turned to a down arrow? I'm going to click on that so it highlights that whole row. The box below here, there's a little square. I'm going to click on that and slide this over just a little bit. Even though we're using an Avery template, it doesn't always fit on the label correctly, and I found if I shifted my name and address over a little bit, it won't fall off the label when you print. The other piece of information that I've found as I'm working with labels is sometimes it falls off the top as well. And if I just hit Enter here, it shifts down the whole page and it doesn't do it just in that cell. So undo is a wonderful tool. I'm going to hit undo. I'm going to put my cursor right in front of the first. I'm going to hit the space bar. Then I can hit Enter to make my whole label shift down. Now, I'm not a real fan of having that really large, so typically what I'll do is I'll highlight that return, and I'll make that small, and I've just gotten in the habit of going to size 8 because that's at the top of my screen. The label looks pretty good. So what we need to do next is hit Mailings, Update Labels, and what Update Labels is going to do, it's going to update all of the labels on the template here. So now that the labels are all there, sometimes I'm curious, do I have it correct? Is all my information correct on my database or my spreadsheet? I click Preview Results, and it'll show me the information and how it'll look on my label. Now, as you can see by this box here, this is 1. If I click this one, it'll take me all the way to the end. And I have 59 labels. So here is the last label that I would have. Well, remember I said there's only 30 labels on a sheet, so how can I view all of those different labels? So I preview them here. I can see what the template's going to look like, that everything looks pretty good. So then what I want to do is I hit Finish and Merge, and I hit Edit Individual Document, and it'll bring up all of your labels, all 60 of your labels, and it'll have, notice I have page 1 of 2. I can scroll all the way down and I can see all the different labels. I can make any changes I want to here. Maybe I realize, oh, this isn't Grandpa 32, it should be Grandpa 33, and I can make that change. You can see all my labels, and here's my sheet. So the next thing that you'll need to do is print off your labels. Then you'll want to get your envelopes, place your label on your envelope, return address, stick a stamp on it, and put it in your mailbox, waiting to hear from those who receive your mail to enjoy and the card or letter or invitation that you sent. I hope you learned something new with the presentation I made, and you're able to utilize